What you watch depends on what kind of mood you're in. Sometimes you're craving comedies like Friends or South Park, and sometimes you're more into dramas like HBO's Succession and House of the Dragon. There's also cooking shows like Chopped and Beat Bobby Flay, and even movies like The Lord of the Rings and Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Well, Max is the streaming destination that has the best of entertainment for whatever mood you're in anytime. And plans start at as little as $9.99 a month. Max, the one to watch. Subscription required. Visit max.com.
Walk the dogs, school drop-off, meetings from 10 to 3, take kids to soccer, then no time left for a jog.
When everyone else is relying on you, it's easy to put your needs last. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online, so you can show up for yourself the way you do for others. Visit BetterHelp.com/positive to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/positive.
The commercials are over.
Yo, I haven't got all day.
869-1240.
Time to get busy.
This is Sports Daily on KFH.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Sports Daily on KFH. Tommy Castor and Paul Savage, Jad Chambers producing the program. Your call is always welcome on the IHOP hotline, 869-1240. Hope everybody is enjoying Wichita River Festival week this week downtown. It's always a fun time, and tomorrow night is the Highland Dairy Ice Cream Social beginning at 6:30, goes until 8 o'clock on Douglas. You can come down and enjoy a complimentary bowl of Highland Dairy ice cream. Yours truly will be there scooping the ice cream. I'm not sure I'm a great scooper of ice cream on my end, but I'm going to do my best, Paul. I'm going to see if I can do a good job at that.
Well, here's what I want to know. If I come down and I'm in your line, will I get an extra scoop or will I not get an extra scoop?
I don't know the rules. Like, nobody's told me exactly what the parameters are. Like, I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble if I give you an extra scoop.
Well, what are they going to do? Put you in ice cream jail? I want to.
I don't know. Paul, I'm a rule follower. I'm not a rule breaker. They tell me how I need to do it, and I'm going to take care of it.
I just got to say this, Tommy. They've called you a celebrity scooper. They could revoke your celebrity status.
That is right. Yes, that could happen. Yeah.
So if that's on the table, then Paul, I'm sorry. You're not going to get an extra scoop. In fact, you might have to go to the back of the line because I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything that will have any kind of appearance of impropriety. I want to handle things. I want to keep that celebrity status. So unfortunately, Paul, I'm not going to be able to take care of you.
Oh, geez. Golly. Okay. Wow.
That's gonna be tomorrow night. It'll be a lot of fun down on Douglas. The Highland Dairy Ice Cream Social beginning at 6:30, and of course that's only one of the big events happening with River Festival this week. And Odyssey is proud to be a part of a lot of those great events downtown for the annual River Festival in Wichita. All right, Paul. Big news that came down yesterday. We're finally getting to it on the program. By the way, if you missed any of our discussion about the new Shocker baseball coach Brian Green, if you missed our conversation about what else did we talk about? We talked about Live Golf and the PGA Tour merging. If you missed any of the big topics, you can always go back and listen on the Odyssey app on the podcast page. You can pull up all of that and listen to our discussion earlier in the hour. But a topic that we wanted to talk about earlier on in the show, we're getting to right now. Shocker basketball, Jayhawk basketball. People have been for years for these two programs to play each other in a regular game. They have not faced off in a regular season game against each other since 1993. That looks to be no more. Multiple reports yesterday that WSU and KU basketball will face off against each other on December 29th at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. Paul, your initial thoughts on that? I mean, it's been a long time. These two teams have not played each other since 1993. It's been 30 years. Before that, they did play every year from 84 to 93. KU went 8-1 during that stretch. The last time these two teams faced off in any capacity was going back to the NCAA tournament in 2015, where, of course, the Shockers beat KU 78-65. So your thoughts on this news?
You say this has been going on for years. No, my friend, it's been going on for decades. That's how long this has been going on for. And finally, they're going to play a game, a regular season game, that is. Let's make sure we understand that. This is a regular season game, and they're going to play. Now, Tommy, this just irks the heck out of me why KU won't play Wichita State. And quite frankly, Wichita State ought to be playing K-State once a year, KU once a year, and it should happen because this is the state of Kansas. We're all Kansans. This is good for the state of Kansas. They're almost free games because there's no airplane expense to go. Most of these games, you won't get the kids out of school because you can almost go and come on the same night. It's a 2-hour bus drive to whatever school you're going to. I'm just telling you, Tommy, there's no reason in the world for this not to happen. Now, some reason it's happened for 30 years, 3 decades. This has not happened. I don't think it's Wichita State. I think it's KU. I don't think KU wants to take the chance of getting beat by Wichita State. That's what I think this really boils down to. And perhaps in the Greg Marshall years, they would look at a program like Wichita State and say, you know something? We really have nothing to gain by playing Wichita State or even beating Wichita State. But boy, what if they sneak up on us one year and they win? We have a lot to lose and not much to gain. We're not going to alter how much money we make. We'll bring in some other schlack team, and we'll pay them their fee, and they'll come and play. We'll get our win, and they'll go back and wherever they came from. And it really irks me. It really irks me that the University of Kansas never wanted to play Wichita State. Now, I would think, Tommy, and I know that you're a KU guy. You're a KU elitist, and I understand that.
Okay.
And here's the thing.
I mean, I would disagree with that, but okay, go on.
But here's what I would think a guy like you would want. I would think you would want the opportunity to come to Wichita once a year, or have Wichita come up to their gym and play a game and win, so that you could lord it over all those lowly Wichita State people. Aha, see? You think you can compete with us? Year after year, we beat the pants off of you. You found your place. I would think that for a guy like you, Tommy, that would be very attractive. I would think that a lot of KU people would say, man, oh man, I want the opportunity to whip Wichita State. And I don't understand why you guys don't take the opportunity to do that. K-State, I think, would be a lot of fun, too. So, Tommy, here's my solution. And it's a heck of a solution. This isn't the first time I've brought this up in my life, but I'm going to bring it up with you because that's the first time with you. If there's a House of Representative listening to my voice on this show, and you're in the Kansas State House of Representatives, or if you're a Kansas senator, you're in the Senate up in Topeka, and you can hear this conversation, put forth a law that says Wichita State, KU, and K-State need to play baseball and that's what elitists say. That's what elitists do. That's what you guys do. That's what you always do. See, now hold on just a second, and let me tell you why. Because it would be good for the state of Kansas. It would bring a ton of money that stays in Kansas. Instead of sending it to some other college in some other state, that money stays right here. And by the way, Kansas taxpayers pay a ton of money to KU, K-State, and Wichita State. We are entitled to have these teams play basketball.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'd rather have my politicians actually focus on things that are more important than legislating whether or not teams are playing each other.
Takes 5 minutes to do it. I can write a bill. We can have it passed in 5 minutes.
I don't care. Let me tell you a secret, Paul.
You don't care because you're from KU.
I don't care. I don't care all that much. Like, if they play each other, that's great. Like, when I saw the report that Wichita State and KU were going to be playing each other in basketball, I thought, cool. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, it's
if
cool.
They don't play, that's fine. If they don't play, cool, that's fine. I just don't care. I don't care one way or another. Leave it up to the coaches to schedule who they see fit. And if the coaches decide they want to schedule, like in this case, great. That's awesome. That's, good for Paul Mills and good for Bill Self for determining that it was going to be a good idea for these two teams to face off against each other for whatever reason, whether that's financially motivated or, if Paul Mills thinks that, it could be that would be a monumental win for his young Shocker program to upset KU. That'd be awesome. Like, whatever the motivation is, that's great. But if they decide they don't want to do it, okay. Cool, we move on. I just don't care. I don't care enough to have these politicians take time out of their day when there are real issues in the state to legislate these two teams playing each other. I just don't care.
Well, maybe we can get them focused on basketball, they won't make a mess of the rest of the stuff they've got to. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Or it takes away their attention from more pressing matters, more important matters. I just don't feel like that's what I need my politicians spending their time on.
10 minutes to pass a bill? You don't have 10 minutes to pass a bill? Come on, Jad, what do you got to say?
I'm sorry, Paul. I don't care what or how easy a bill is. I don't care if it's nominating a new state rodent or whatever it is. Nothing in Topeka takes 10 minutes.
Oh, well.
Gridlock.
Yeah.
Gridlock. And you know what? And think about, and I don't have enough faith in our politicians to think that they wouldn't try to tack on a bunch of other crap that is unnecessary on this bill. They might say, oh, we're doing this for the good of, Wichita State and KU and K-State, and we're legislating this. And then all of a sudden you find out that they've tacked on a bunch of other unnecessary stuff that has nothing to do with the world of sports whatsoever, because that's the way that politics work. So I just don't care enough. I don't want it in the place of, other pressing issues around the state of Kansas. So if they play each other and it looks like they're going to in the regular season, great. I will definitely watch. And you know what I want to call you out here, Paul, because you call me a KU elitist. I'm not a KU elitist. I didn't go to KU. I'm not a KU alum. I've lived in Wichita my entire life. I cheer for both universities. I support both universities equally. I'm not a KU elitist. I'm happy they're playing each other. But if they didn't play each other, my life would go on. I wouldn't lose any sleep. We'd move on. It's all good.
Well, I think that's tremendous, and I apologize for the KU elitist fan. You're a KU flack, so that was a joke. I'm just kidding. I didn't mean that either, obviously. But something, I'm gonna go my whole life and not get to enjoy a series, like Missouri KU. I'm gonna go my entire life and not to get to enjoy that KU, Wichita State, K-State triangle of basketball. Some of the greatest basketball in this country comes out of the state of Kansas. And I feel like we're all being robbed from a chance to enjoy what is so great about the state of Kansas sports, and that is college basketball.
I don't know why you're whining about it, though, because it's happening.
Whining?
Like the decision was they're playing each other. Like it's going to happen. So they're going to play each other on. Like you're talking about a missed opportunity. It's going to happen, right?
Yeah, once out of every 30 years. Gee, thanks.
Well, we don't know if
it's by next time they play in that
back.
case.
It may come back. Who knows? But at least we know
it's
a start. They're playing once.
What makes you think it's going to come back?
Well, my understanding, and I don't have any official word on this, but speculation is that this is a game that is actually being driven by the NIL collectives. And so you that in there, and you've got, and I don't exactly know the logistics and if that's even going to happen or not, but you've got NIL opportunities potentially for the players on both teams, and maybe that ends up being a driving force behind it to make this more of a regular thing. That I'm okay with. I'm okay with that being the driving force as opposed to political pressure in Topeka to make this happen on a regular basis. I'm more okay with that. Let's go to the IHOP hotline, 869-1240. Terry is on the line wanting to talk about Wichita State and KU basketball. Terry, good morning. What's on your mind?
Hey guys, how you doing there? Hey,
doing great.
Just a real quick kind of little history for me as a perspective. I grew up here in Wichita, live here now, but I ran cross country and track at the University of New Mexico. And yes, Paul, I still drank coffee during ultra marathons.
Wow.
But anyway, I'm dumb enough to have gotten two different graduate degrees, and one is from Wichita State and one is from KU, and my sister was a K-Stater, both her degrees from there. I think as far as a fan base, I didn't realize until those 2 years I lived in Lawrence to work on that degree that it's not a big deal for people up there at all. It's like K-State loves beating KU, but I didn't realize until I moved up there, that bigger hatred and rivalry for KU was Missouri. It's like, we like beating K-State, but man, we want to pummel Missouri. And really, when I lived up there years ago, it was like nobody even thought about Wichita State as somebody necessarily we wanted to play. Now, I know there's a lot of politics involved in what you guys have been discussing, but I see it as for the KU fan base, it's really not that big a deal unless you're maybe from Wichita and grew up here and have KU ties or, for me, I think it would be great to see them all three play each other. You know what I mean? But it's different than when I was in New Mexico. New Mexico and New Mexico State have never been in the same athletic conference, but they play each other every year at basketball, football, baseball. It's almost an annual thing, and it is a rivalry. What is considered a rivalry game. So I think from a fan base, it just, for people up there in the Lawrence area, it's just not that big a deal. What do you think about that?
Well,
Terry, I think you're right. I mean, I think that, that's always been kind of the mentality of, and I know, Paul jokingly KU elitist, but I think that there is a little bit, and I can say this as a KU fan, I think there is a little bit of that where, they would rather go and beat Missouri, play Missouri in the border showdown. They don't particularly care about K-State. They don't particularly care about Wichita State. I would say that Kansas State cares more about Kansas than Kansas cares about them. And then I would say that, especially once the Greg Marshall era started at Wichita State with basketball, Shocker basketball cared more about KU than vice versa. So I do think that there is now a setting where you've got an opportunity with Paul Mills as the new coach for Shocker basketball to maybe this will end up being a series. Maybe this will be a long-term thing. I will say that I'm looking forward to the matchup. I think it's going to be fun to watch and fun to watch these two schools meet up. But I'll go back to what I said before. I just don't lose any sleep over it if it doesn't happen.
Well, I think you got a good – oh, Terry, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Paul.
Well, I was just going to say that maybe it doesn't mean a lot to KU people, but it means a lot to people from, let's say, Emporia West. There's a lot of people that live from Emporia West in this state. And Wichita is the largest city in the entire state of Kansas. There's importance to the state that KU people have to understand. This is about the state of Kansas. This isn't just about the University of Kansas. This is about the state of Kansas. This is about how we showcase our state. This would be like, they say Indiana is one of the best states in the country when it comes to basketball, both college and high school, and I think there's a great point for that. High school basketball in the state of Indiana is really something very special, but it can be the same thing here in the state of Kansas. I think it's great for Kansas. I just think it's closed-minded to not understand what this rivalry, K-State, KU, and Wichita State in basketball, one game a year. You can switch back and forth, home one year, away the next year, back and forth with all three teams, and you would turn this thing into something really spectacular and special for the state of Kansas. The Kansas rivalry. I'll give it a nickname already. And I think KU and K-State will probably win more games over time than Wichita State win. And I would think that would make everybody at KU and K-State very happy to be able to do that. But I'll tell you what, this is a quality of life issue if you live in the state of Kansas. What is being withheld from us right now is a joy thing. It's a quality of life issue in the state of Kansas.
Oh, come on. Nothing is being withheld from us. But I can promise you right now, while there are people that, might want to see Wichita State and KU play each other and are thrilled that they're going to be playing each other, there is not a single person in the state of Kansas who feels like their quality is being affected. These two teams are not playing each other. Come on. Like I get the desire to have these two teams play, but nobody is losing sleep about this. And it's great that it's happening. I would love to see it happen more often, but no, I mean, the quality of life thing. Come on, Paul. Yeah. Terry, thanks for the call. Appreciate you calling in and your thoughts on this matchup that's going to be happening on December 29th. I guess my final thought on it, Paul, before we take a break is good for them. I'm glad they got it done. Would love to see it happen more often. I am happy. I'm glad that they're going to be playing each other.
Right.
Not the end of the world for me one way or another. Right. I know you care about it more than I do.
And I know you're not a hack, and I know you're not an elitist. So there you go.
I think that we're making up a little bit. That might have been was that our first fight ever?
I think
our
it
first
was.
argument
Are
ever?
you okay? Are you okay? I didn't
did I? I'm going to need the commercial break to try to compose myself. I'm a little bit upset right now. But no, I'm good. Definitely a good discussion. And of course, we'll be looking forward to that matchup on December 29th at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. Shockers and Jayhawks facing off on the hardwood. When we come back, our final full segment of the show, Paul's favorite sports TV show of all time, coming to an end. We'll about that on the other side at Sports Daily on KFH.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Pizza John's has been serving Derby since 1969. We pride ourselves on our great pizza and personal service. We treat all of our customers like family. Pizza John's, 208 South Baltimore, purveyors of round meals and flat snacks.
Looking for an adventure? Find yours in a Toyota truck. Like a Tacoma, the ultimate off-road machine. With available crawl control, you'll tackle anything in your way. Or an electrified Tundra with more power than ever before and a spacious high-tech cabin that puts you in charge. Or go with the legendary 4Runner, always reliable and durable over the toughest terrain. No matter your adventure, Toyota has you covered. Visit buyatoyota.com for more and let's go places.